Hello and welcome to the channel. I'm Proton Kid and I'm here in the LoudNoiz studio, and today I'm going to disclose a bass patch, a Serum bass patch that I often use. I've used it in most of my tracks from the past year. So if you've heard any of my tracks from 2017, you will definitely recognize it. Anyway, I am going to build it from scratch, and hopefully it will be useful to what you are looking for in your production. Okay, so let's just dive right into it. My weapon of choice today is Ableton Live. It may as well have been Cubase, but today it's Ableton. If you're working with Serum, you know that you can use it in any application that supports VST. Okay, so we have our Serum here. It's initial patch, which sounds like this. Pretty basic. And yeah, I will not get into explaining the functionality, and I'm assuming you are already familiar with this plugin. There are a lot of other tutorials that can explain in depth what every button does, and the effects and matrix, and how to link them. I will just guide you through my work process of this patch in particular. Okay, first of all, I like my sub on the sine wave, and with the direct out pressed, because I don't want the effects later on when I will apply them to be applied to the sub also, so just have pure sine in the output. Serum has 2 oscillators, but in this example I will just be using one of them, and let's just turn one of them on. I don't know why oscillator B, maybe because it's closer to the filter and can, you know, I can watch how they go together. Okay, so here where it says default, you can load up wave tables if you have. Serum comes with a lot of default wave tables that are pretty nice. For example, this one that I'm using, which is the this 8-bit FWAP. Okay, sounds like this. Okay, maybe not so detuned. This, I don't need this random button. Wavetable position. Yeah. That sounds pretty nice already. And yeah, well, that's basically it for the oscillator. And now the LFO part. I'll just draw a curve here, which I know works best with this kind of bass. Okay, come on. Oh, I have to add another point. Okay, something like this, I guess. Okay, and I'm gonna press this trip button so my rate will register triple values also. And just like in native instruments massive, you can assign the LFO to the button you want it to oscillate. Okay. Sounds really nice already. Retrigger. Trigger actually. Okay. I'm just going to, just for the sake of listening to different variants of the rate modulation, I'm going to assign this to my MIDI. Okay, let's see. Okay, maybe this curve. Okay. By the way, if you want to make your curve smoother, there's a trick. You hold your Alt key on your keyboard, just grab one of these midpoints, not the main anchor point, and just drag up and down to make it smoother, or you know, it depends on how it sounds and what you're looking for in a sound. Okay, that sounds pretty nice to me. Next up is the filter. Well, the filter is, well, basically it's the same as the one in the effects here. I mean, they have the same filter methods, I guess. Just that the one in the effects panel is you can move it up and down according to what the other effects do and according to your personal taste, I guess. Okay, so now my filter is filtering oscillator A, which is not turned on, so I'll switch it to B. It's on low 12 now, so sometimes I just, ignore the cutoff, maybe just use the other one, because you have two filters, and just use this this filter in the oscillator panel for the drive, just add some drive. But you can also modulate it, oscillate it, whatever, just by pulling this headphones thing here up and down, if you're looking for the wobbly kind of bass, but no, not for me. Okay, I like it like this. Okay, moving on to the effects. We will be having some distortion on it, some hyper, compression, and EQ. Now I know some of you might say that it's not really advisable to have stereo effect on a bass that has sub, because of the phasing, and you know, it would be harder later on to make an EQ that fits with your kick or other sounds on the low frequency area. But I don't really care for convention, so I'm gonna use hyper and dimension on this bass in particular, just to add some stereo flavor, because it sounds pretty mono. Okay, so let me just check something here. Okay, so the distortion comes first on from the drop down menu here. It has some distortion methods. I personally like the linear fold, you know, because it folds back and reflects the signal and adds some really nice frequencies to the distortion. But you'll have to work really gentle with the mix and the drive, because, well, you can go with the mix and the drive all the way to the max if you want some extreme effects, you know, extreme results. But in this case, I will just be tweaking them ever so gently. Okay. See what I mean? I mean, the mix is not that bad, but the drive, because it adds more, you know, reflections, more mirrorings of the signal, and it might get messy at higher values. So I think this will do. Alright, next the hyper. Well, I'll just have a little bit of mix from both, you know, not to be too wide. Also the unison, I'll put it back to 2. Cool. With okay, now I can hear it. Compression. The compressor, I'll have it on multiband, you know, because it kind of simulates an OTT compressor, you know, because it has bands for the mid, high and lows. So threshold dictates how loud it's going to get, while the others are, you know, just adjusting the compression rate. Okay. All right. Cool, sounding nice. Okay, so now, due to the compression, it has lost, and the distortion, it has lost some low frequencies, and due to hyper also. So that's why we have the EQ in the end to compensate for, you know, we've gained some decibels and some distortion, but we've lost some highs and some low frequencies from it. Now you're talking. Tickles nice, right? Okay. So yeah, that is basically it. Also, if you want to add some harmony or some tone to it, you can use the other oscillator, you know. I usually go for the digital animal FT animal 1, you know, just for a little bit of flavor to it. Also let's route it through the filter. So yeah, this is the bass that I've been using and recycling ever since I made it last year. You know, it can turn into so many just by, you know, just by tweaking the wavetable position or you know, adding some bend to it or asymmetric, you know, it's that easy. Alright, thanks for watching. I hope you found this tutorial useful, and if you did, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys soon. Okay, bye.